like a risk assessment.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Fresh Start Mornings. There's lots of buzz next door with the Canton Business Club, but we're going to go ahead and get started so that we can end on time and respect your day. We got a couple more folks coming in, so we'll let them come in and join us. I want to welcome you to our third Wednesday Fresh Start Mornings, where we allow businesses to come and share their challenges and hopefully gain a perspective from the audience in a crowdsourced environment so that they walk away with those tips and tools and maybe golden nuggets that they didn't have when they came in. I would love to go around really quickly so that everybody knows who's in the room. And for time's sake, I'm not going to pass the microphone, but I'm going to ask you to speak up really loud. It's just your name and your business. And I'm going to start right here with you.
Hi, my name is Angela Barlow. My business is Ruby Travel, and also what we're on is a restaurant that's coming soon to Canton.
Excellent. Restaurant coming soon. Sir?
Hey, I'm Jack. I work in the city of Canton on the media side of things.
Excellent. Gentlemen, who just got coffee?
I'm Michael with the city of Canton.
Okay, excellent.
I'm Bryant, and I'm with the creations.
I'm Alexander Bryant. I'm also with Reformation Brewery.
Excellent.
They make my stuff. I'm Ann, we're with the live stream solution.
Okay.
I'm Chris Cunyon, offline matchmaking.
Linda Brown, I'm a project manager. I'm in the network and inspiration.
I'm Tony with the Royal Presidency.
I believe that there's a social media management.
Lee?
Good morning, I'm Lee with the Highlight Area.
Chad with Matt State Services.
Stone with Business Radio X.
Ben?
Dana with the Office of Economic Development.
Thomas?
Thomas with the Office of Economic Development.
Sir?
Mike Cena, Certified Financial Planner.
Katya Ward with Brand Strategy and Design.
Hi, I'm Stacey Roby with Healing House Mind and Body, Functional Health Network.
Allen with Performance.com, I'm Boston, I own Florida Night Services.
He needs no introduction. I think everybody knows him.
I'm Denise with Cherokee Office of Economic Development.
Morning, everybody. Heath Tippins, Cherokee Office of Economic Development.
Gerald?
Gerald Griffith, Florida Publishing, takes the 575.
Excellent. And sir, you just walked in. What's your name and business?
I'm Matt with NB Flooring and Home Services.
Excellent. Welcome and find a seat. And we have coffee in the back, so don't be shy if you need a refill as we get started. But Fresh Start Mornings is an initiative out of our office, the Cherokee Office of Economic Development. You might hear us refer to Fresh Start Cherokee. That's one of our initiatives where we want to support the small businesses and local entrepreneurs here in our community. And one of those ways is Fresh Start. We have either a business come and present, or we do an educational workshop that's universal, hopefully in tackling your needs. So we're going to dig, grind, and hatch. Fresh Start, and then we have the circuit, which is at the Tech Woodstock campus, where we have a co-working space. So it's open to students and the public and local entrepreneurs who rent space from us to be able to work on their business, get away from home, the dogs, the kids. And then we elevate it through our NAV program, North Atlanta Venture Program. Hank Howard just walked in with Guidepost Marketing, our newest NAV member, speaking of NAV. Yes, welcome. Where we pair a local entrepreneur with mentors who have expertise to walk with them along their business journey and help them scale and elevate. And then I say often, we're not a one organization show. It takes lots of us to pull off this work around economic development, and that's our county and our city and our partners. One, Reformation Brewery, allowing us to have the space. Circle of Friends provides our coffee when we're at the circuit. Corridor Publishing, Gerald is so kind to come and set up his equipment and do a live stream for us. Bronson does our photography, and we're very grateful for all of them. And then on to today's program and why we're here. As you listen to Alexander tee up his business, be thinking of ways you can support him. He's going to tee up 3 questions when we get to the Ask slide. And we're going to flip the script and we're going to bring it out to you to help solve those questions for him. So put your thinking Alexander with Alpha Site. He is not a stranger to Cherokee County. Been here for many, many generations. He's a graduate of Reinhardt University. He not only owns one business, he owns two. So he's got Alpha Site and StarCraft. So we go from digital marketing to the wilderness. So if you want to learn wilderness skills, you talk to him about StarCraft. If you want to know digital marketing for skilled trades, Alpha Site.
It's called balance.
It's not balance, that's right. But he's also in the infantrymen of the Georgia Army National Guard, so I wanted to give kudos to him for that. Thank you for your service, sir. He lives here in Canton with his wife, Sarah. So I'll turn it over to Alexander.
All right, thank you very much, Lee. I really appreciate the introduction. I always like to start with gratitude. So first off, thank you all very much for being here. There's other things you could be doing with your time this morning. You could be working, you could be doing content creation, you could be calling your customers, but you chose to be here with me. So I hope that this is enlightening to you. I hope that the time is valuable. So again, I appreciate you taking the time to be here. I see a room full of friends here, honestly. I know most of the people here. I've known a lot of the people here for several years. So it's really cool to have you all come out and show your support. And I very much appreciate that. So let's get into it. So as Lee said, my name is Alexander Bryant. I'm the owner and CEO of Alpha Site. We are a digital marketing agency that works exclusively with the skilled trades. So blue-collar pros and trades and home services are the people that we work with. A little bit about me. Lee covered most of it, but I'm a Cherokee County native. It kind of puts me in the minority these days, but my family goes back generations here. My mom's side, my dad's side, we've both been in Cherokee or Pickens County since it was settled, honestly. Proud graduate of Reinhardt University, which actually does tie into this. Believe it or not, I have a degree in marketing. This is the first time I've ever actually worked in that field. It's my career transition since 2020. So I do have a little bit of academic qualification to do what I do. But proud Reinhardt grad. I do serve in the Georgia Army National Guard, which will come up later. That's going to be one of my questions, concerns, problems to deal with. Is that I'm 11 Bravo, so if y'all who don't speak military, that's combat infantry. So I'm out there in it. That's what I want to do. To me, that's the fun stuff. Right? We get to shoot the guns, we get to jump out of the planes and helicopters, we get to be in the field. So that's that's the good stuff. Back when this program was 1 million cups, I was actually one of the first presenters with my other business called StarCraft. It's a wilderness skills school. We have a 70-acre property that we teach off of up near Wallesco. And that comes from my experience with Cherokee County Fire and Emergency Services. That was another part of my life. I was building a search and rescue for 10 years. That's what I've been doing. That business, and that business gave me a lot of the background, connections, and experiences of this business. It all ties together. Now, I've spent most of my professional career in sales. Sold construction equipment, sold insurance, sold a lot of different things. In 2020, I transitioned out of that into digital marketing. I got my first agency job with a good friend of mine, and I've worked for agencies ever since until I decided it was time to start my own. But, and this is relevant, I've also always had a heart for the trades. So, I worked construction in all times that were my in-between times. Whether it was in college, whether it was starting businesses, any time that was sort of a time of transition. Trades were always there for me. I always had friends or family that were contractors, that were builders, whatever, that once I kind of had the basics down and kind of knew the ropes, I knew I could always have a job because I always knew how to swing a hammer. So I worked in carpentry for about 2 years. I've been an equipment operator. I've done kitchen and bathroom remodeling, so I know that industry very well, and those are my people. I feel very comfortable there. I like working with that group. So, which leads me to Alpha Site. It combines all of that experience. So, all of that experience that may seem very disconnected and very all over the place, it all kind of brings it together. So, it takes my marketing background, my degree, my time spent in agencies, and allows me to serve the people that I care about and I connect with the most, which is blue-collar pros. What's up, man? I'm glad you did.
You have all that?
Awesome. Yeah, so it really combines those two things. And beyond just personal preference. Why start a blue-collar marketing agency? Well, for one, I believe there's a lot of opportunity there because having experienced life in the trades, a lot of these guys are phenomenal at what they do. There is a very negative stereotype that I like to try and dispel as much as I can that, guys in trades couldn't have any college. They couldn't do a white-collar job. I would say the opposite. I would say that a lot of what these guys do is very advanced level. Like if you try to do like a lot of the mathematical formulas for carpentry, for calculating like how to build a house, that's not easy. So it's not that these guys aren't capable of doing their own marketing or running their own business. They just don't have time. They're very much overworked. They're trying to do everything, especially if they're in the process of growing and scaling. So there's a great opportunity there for me to take that off their plate. Change into the problems and opportunities. So again, blue-collar business owners. I know there's a couple of y'all in here. How much spare time do y'all have? What's spare time, right? Yeah, exactly. So your marketing usually gets pushed to the side. It either gets delegated out to someone who is either not qualified to do it or doesn't want to do it, like your spouse, one of your kids, whoever you can like rope into doing it. Or you try to do it in that non-existent spare time and it's inconsistent. Like sure, you might post on social media when you have a lull in between jobs, but like for a couple of weeks it goes dead. Like, does that sound familiar? Okay, yeah. So that's part of the issue that I aim to address is being your marketing guy so that you can get back to doing what you're doing and being the pro that delivers and wows your clients with the amazing work you do. So that's what I can offer you. Also, especially in this market, if you aren't aware, Atlanta is probably arguably the hottest real estate market in the country. So as such, it is endless opportunity for trades and home services. Where there's opportunity, there's competition. And a lot of these niches are extremely competitive. So how do you stand out? So if you're the guy that's just doing your marketing in your spare time and doesn't have that opportunity to devote that to it, are you really going to be able to be head and shoulders above, the other guy who's trying to do what you do? Like, how do you stand out in that competitive environment? You need a pro in your corner. You need someone doing your marketing. Simple as that. Also, thanks for the call for Reformation. This is cut number 5 today, so I'm finally up to about cruising altitude. I'm about to start phasing in and out of dimensions. The other issue too is a lot of businesses, especially in the trades, they get stuck at a certain level. So, again, for the guys who are in the trades, does this sound like you? Like you want to grow, you want to scale, but there's not enough of you to go around. Like you're stuck at that level of like, I can't quite afford to hire another crew, or I can't quite afford to make this major equipment purchase, but I'm also just running ragged working 70, 80 hours a week. Like, how do I get out of that? How do I get off the tools and into a better quality of life? Where I'm making the money I want to make, getting the jobs I want to get, but I also can go home and eat dinner with my family every night. I can take weekends off instead of having to work 7 days a week. I can buy a boat, get out on the lake and fish more, like build that quality of life. Like that's also what I help with, is getting you past that stuck point of growth and scaling that a lot of businesses face. That upper limit they hit, I can help them break through that. And how I do that is really one of the things that I think is unique about Alphaside is we have a very streamlined business model. A lot of marketing agencies try to be everything for everyone all the time and end up also at that same point of being stuck and not able to scale because they service everyone. Every client's unique, everything's different. They might be working with a restaurant or a law firm or a flooring company or a roofer, and all of those are different. We stay focused on the trades exclusively. So, I believe that makes it a better business model, but also we streamline our services. We only really focus on those things that can provably drive the needle forward for blue-collar businesses. So that's a clean, professional website with great ad copy or great copy that converts. That's search engine optimization, SEO, so that you can get found in Google organically. And that is paid ads to forcefully drive traffic to whatever offer it is that you're making. So those 3 things really, I find, move the needle the most for blue-collar businesses, so that's what we focus on. That said, we can also be a full-service digital agency. If you want social media management, we can do that. If you want email marketing to stand out and nurture leads, we can do that as well. Branding, we have people we can partner with for that. So we can be your one-stop shop. However, that's usually not where I start. You know, I try to focus on the stuff that's going to get you leads and get you jobs, because that's why you're here. Like, if you want to do branding, phenomenal. I can tell you the value of that, why you should do that. But honestly, most blue-collar pros I talk to, they're like, how can you get me more jobs right now? I got you. So, and again, by niching down, I think that gives us a lot more power to serve that niche effectively. All right, so our ideal client profile. Specificity is a good thing, right? So I have it pretty much nailed down. I know exactly who I want to work with. And that is a business in the trades or home services, obviously, that has been in business for a minimum of 18 to 24 months. No startups. You know, if you're just getting off the ground, like, I'd love to talk to you. I'll give you whatever advice I think is helpful. You know, I'm always free to help, but we're probably not going to be able to work together. You need a proven service or business model. You know, I don't want to work with someone who has done something no one's ever done before, because, you know, I have a harder time guaranteeing results with that. But if it's a tried and true offer, like, I know how to get wins for roofers. I know how to get wins for remodeling contractors. Like, we've been down that road before. Minimum transaction revenue of $1K. Now, again, all these are kind of negotiable. They're more guidelines, but really, for paid ads to be the most effective and to get the most wins for you, you know, one job really needs to be at least $1,000 for you. Or maybe not necessarily one job, but maybe you sign a recurring client, like say if you're in pressure washing, pest control, you know, the lifetime value of that client may be over $1,000. But, you know, the higher the transaction revenue, the better, and the more dramatic the impact I can have for you. Has the desire and ability to grow and scale. So some people are happy where they are. I have a really good friend who's a remodeling contractor, and it's just him, and he's happy keeping it that way for right now. Cool. There's really not much I can do for him, because he's already booked out until 2025. Because he doesn't have the capacity to burn through jobs quicker, because it's just him, and he's fine with that. And also the ability, which means those 2 points down below. You need to have the office staff or someone to handle inbound leads. If I run a lead generation campaign for you, and those leads sit for a week because you don't have time to get to them because it's just you, you're truly wasting your money. That's not a good use of your time or funds. So you need to be able to capitalize on the business that comes in from the campaigns you build. And then also, on the ground, you need to have the crew capacity to handle the increased job growth. Like, if it's just you, again, like, you're going to lose business, you're going to book stuff further out, you're not going to necessarily have those quick wins. But if you got like at least a couple guys that can work without you there, great, then we can scale. And ideally, 100K plus annual revenue. Doesn't have to be that, but really, if it's much below that, you know, it's going to be more of a tight budget issue. So that's my ideal client profile. Again, all that can be negotiated, but that's what I'm looking for. This is not a presentation, but I do also offer a referral bonus. So if you know anyone who fits those criteria, even if that's not you, send them my way, and you can get paid for it. So something to think about. Okay. So I'll go ahead and jump to the next one.
So this is where the Q&A starts. This is where I need you to participate. So he's going to tee up his 3 questions that he's struggling with the most, his challenges, the things that are keeping him up at night, as they say in the small business world. I know there's times y'all stir at night because you can't turn it off. You're always thinking about that next step. And so he's no different. And so he wants to pull you for his 3 challenges. So tee those up, Alexander.
Cool.
Then I'm going to walk around with the microphone. And so don't be shy. Raise your hand and I'll come to you. And let's have a great conversation for him. got one hand up. Well, let's start with question one. How can I more quickly systemize and remove myself from the business?
Actually, what I want to do here is I want to do the country buffet option. I'll go ahead and read them all off, and then y'all can just pick one. And I think the discussion may flow a little smoother because of that. So number one, how can I more quickly systematize this business and remove myself from the day-to-day operations? Because I don't want to fall in the trap that most marketing agencies do, where they get to that point of being stuck, and the owner still has his hand in every single thing that gets done. I want to get out of that, break free from that as quickly as possible. Number two, other than the obvious, I'm impatient. I like to make things happen quickly. I really believe in moving forward aggressively in most things that I do. How can I get more leads other than the obvious that I've listed off there? Because those are like low-hanging fruit right there. So paid ads, SEO, networking, Facebook groups, cold outreach. What else can I do? And then the last one, this is the one that really keeps me up at night. This one is the one I lose sleep over. I call it deployment proofing. So again, combat infantry, and I've said this before in settings like this, but the National Guard experience varies a lot based on what unit you're in. Some guys really do just do their 1 week in a month, 2 weeks a year. That's all they ever see. The unit that I'm in does not work like that. We deploy a lot. We get activated a lot. Do a lot of stuff globally and domestically. We have what's called a high operational tempo. So there's a strong chance at any time my team leader can call me up and say, hey, we got orders to go somewhere. And I need the business to be able to withstand, not only withstand that, but still deliver excellent results for my clients so that they don't notice if I'm there or not. So that, and again, I think about this all the time, but what am I not seeing? What are my blind spots there? So, carry on.
Okay, so you've got the microphone first, I'll let you.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So, this is really speaking to the first question, but it might also be number three, a little bit of overlap there. So, how can I more quickly systematize and remove myself from the business? So, this is actually really interesting. So, I got to spend some time with Alex last weekend, and we talked about this a little bit, but it actually just clicked in my head because the way that I heard some of the information in your presentation actually came across a little contradictory. So something that you said about your target audience is that they don't have time because they're constantly in jobs. But then you also said that they need more jobs. So that in my head is like they either have a full pipeline and they don't need anything else, or they've got gaps in the pipeline and they need more marketing. And if they are the former, not the latter, if their pipeline is full, then it's like what you said, you need to jump in and help them scale. And the way that I understand scale is that, like, from an ownership standpoint, your business has three hats. There's the acquisition hat, which is typically marketing, the fulfillment hat, which is what the tradespeople are really great at. They're box and fulfilling all the words promised. And then there's operations that keep all the different parts of the company and organization moving. Have you considered having an ops division of your agency where you can bring on in some kind of capacity someone who is absolutely like an ops wizard? You can deploy them on each of your clients' work. They can plug in and start to handle all the different operations to help better prepare them for scale. And that ops person also be ops for your agency? And while you're gone, they're running the show.
That is a great question, and you bring up a good point, because I do actually have someone like that. So I do have a partner in this business who is more or less my marketing mentor. He's the one that gave me that first agency job, that agency that we both worked at that fell apart for a completely different set of reasons. I consider him a close personal friend, but he's been doing digital marketing since 1998, since the internet existed, basically, for most people. And that's his specialty, is operations. Like, he loves building SOPs. He loves creating and streamlining processes. So I'm in the process of bringing him on to do that. But actually, that's a good point about bringing him on for clients. I didn't really consider offering his services up as a consultant for clients, because he's done a lot of that, obviously. So that is something I can offer as well. I initially thought against it because I didn't want to have any more mission creep than I had to. I didn't want to expand my offerings so much that, we did a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and didn't do any of it well. But it wouldn't be that much more difficult to bring them off of that and offer that as clients as well.
Gerald? There you go, I'll hand it to you.
Thanks. Mine kind of speaks to the part about the leads. When I heard about the presentation today, I went to find their site, and I had to keep reminding myself that Alpha Site is not spelled S-I-T. Right?
Yeah, there is an Alpha Site with an I. They're a concrete refinishing company in Illinois. I've tried that already.
Well, it's a subtle thing, but people get frustrated very quickly and they move on to next. So, and people don't speak that way. So when I say Alpha Site, a person hears Alpha Site. They don't hear Alpha S1T. So just consider that actually makes it harder for people to refer you to opportunities, because if someone goes alphasite.com or alphasite.net, whatever it is, they're not going to find you, and then you have to have an educational campaign almost to tell people that this word isn't spelled the way I hear it. And so it just becomes a dilemma and something you have to be very conscious of, because again, if you're asking people to refer you, you have to think, how can they refer you in an educated way that's effective? Because if they just say, oh, there's a guy with an Alpha Site, that person hearing it is not going to find you.
That's a fair point, and to that, I actually dealt with that with my other business, with StarCraft, because it's one letter off from StarCraft, which is a huge online video game. I found out, I didn't know that when I started the company. Yeah, apparently a lot of other people think so too, because for the first couple of years of the company, if anybody Googled StarCraft, it would correct it to StarCraft and send them right there, and they would never find me. So that just took time, and years of SEO, and finally building up enough of a web presence where people would Google that, it wouldn't automatically default. So I ran into that with other companies as well. But I mean, by the time I was kind of already in it, I'd already built out a lot of intellectual property with that name, a lot of brand identity stuff, and I'm like, well, I'm not going to change it. Like, they'll just have to deal with me. And they did. And now it's really honestly not an issue at all. Some people still get it wrong, but for the most part, it's not an issue. As far as Alpha Site goes, I'm not that concerned about it, just because my primary client acquisition strategy right now is direct sales. So I'm actively hunting, like contacting leads, going out and trying to get that business rather than trying to have them find me, if that makes sense. But I get what you're saying, because yes, it has presented itself as an issue. But with the way I'm acquiring clients right now, it's not enough of a problem to try and do something about, if that makes sense.
Just really quick, as a stepping stone, if you have $540 if you want to spend, alpha.site is available, and I won't say it out from under you. You can always take that and forward it to the
Yeah, do a redirect. Yep, good point.
I like that too.
good look.
Yeah.
So actually, at our panel, which is running on AI, that speaks to maybe your question number one. I don't like the idea too much, but there are some practical things that can be done. For example, you can, the question is, how can you step away from your business more for your time? Like, one of the things that a business owner has a lot of is repeating the same information over and over and over again.
Because we can sell well to AI.
We can solve that problem by making videos. You can lead make a video for you, and she can be like, hey, here's your pitch, and you just put it online. That's a very common way to do it. There's another version of that with AI that you can do, where with permission, you can cut everything you've ever said in recent times. And then if anyone asks you a question, your AI presence will answer the question for them based on everything you've already said. Of course, you can train it a little bit, but if you build little automation tools like that, you can free up a lot of time in your business, especially for rudimentary questions. Hey, what was that app that we use again for this? It's like, and you're in a meeting.
Most questions in business are the same thing.
Yeah, you're like right now, you're in this presentation. You're not texting people, but people are asking you, hey, what's that app that you're using? Your AI version of yourself.
Right.
So you can answer all these basic stuff and freeing up the need for you to be 24/7 present to every single communication business, so you can focus on, like this is like one concept.
I agree 100%. And the presentation that y'all did this morning, which was great, by the way, I always learn a lot from, well, third person's not here, but I always learn a lot from you, Kyle, and I always learn a lot from you, especially when you talk about AI in either way. Once I get the agency really spooled up and the basics down, that is something that I really want to focus on generally, is because, like you said in the presentation, you can either embrace it or fight it. If you fight it, it's going to steamroll you. So I would rather be at the forefront of it and not only use it for my own uses, but also have that as something I can bring to my clients. Like something that was just brought up to me the other day is there's an AI lead follow-up tool that I've just heard about. That's something that I can license and offer as an extra service to my clients, where I'll build a lead gen campaign, and all these leads come in, instead of having to drop what they're doing and call them up, like they can have it funnel to that AI lead follow-up tool, and it just starts a conversation. And then they can pick it up and actually like book a call at their convenience. So yes, I'm all about it. It's just one of those things of like,
Add to the list.
yeah, add to the list, exactly. Educate myself on it, and then educate myself on how to apply it to my particular business model. But no, I completely agree.
We have a solution right here.
Okay.
Hey, Alex. So I think back to the operations manager and your partner, but to 1 and 3, to remove yourself and cover any blind spots. If you're relying on someone else, he might get overburdened as well. So I'm thinking you're going to need like little minions of him. Just a few to where you do have systems, they know that they can cover all those things, because as you do grow, you're going to need that help to make sure all those processes are carried out and that they can handle the workload. And then that's how you really would be able to step out and remove it, is if he's willing to do that and he has the support, so that he's not the only guy as well, because then you're stuck in the same exact situation. And number 2 as well, I was thinking, I do like your referral thing. Because people will believe in you, and they'll understand, like, I know enough people that are in that field, and you're exactly right, they're working so hard, and they're funneling the marketing to people that really shouldn't be doing it. But I would also say focus your efforts in going to the networking groups that just aren't so big, but really service those industries, because there are some smaller ones, because then that's who needs you.
Right.
And then they're just going to be like, hey, in the name of those others, they're like, this guy's doing it for me, they'll be passing your company around. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you're right, those are the rooms I need to be in, because like say you're a chiropractor, I don't know, I'll be like, hey, I would love to help you, I really don't want to expand outside my niche, and I'd probably refer them to Kyle or to John Coonan. Those are like the 2 local guys that I trust and respect and refer prospects to. To the first point, again, absolutely right. Something that I have noticed is this process of what I call deployment proofing is also the exact same steps I would use to structure the business in such a way that I can grow and scale it anyway. So it's one of those either way I run things. So it's not like there's a downside to this. Like, yeah, I'm either going to have it where it's bulletproof and clients don't notice the difference when I'm gone, or I stay and I can grow and scale the business that much more quickly because it's not dependent on me as a bottleneck. To that, where I'm at right now is I think there's going to be about 3 layers in the org chart. So I've got the people who are doing fulfillment, so the actual contractors who are doing paid ads, who are doing web development, who are doing all those things. There's going to be probably a VA over them, liaising between them and the clients, making sure that the clients are getting what they want, everything's running smoothly, and then my partner, if you will, he's going to be in the driver's seat on more of a part-time basis, like if anything, basically making sure everything's the way it needs to be. And then slowly developing systems and processes, onboarding new clients, things like that. The higher level decision making is going to be his rather than him doing everything. So that's kind of how I'm building it out right now. And that's tried and true. I have faith that that's like the way to go right now. Yes, you're absolutely right. It depends. It can be anywhere from, so say it's an activation stateside for like a storm that, you hear people, that's like the stereotypical National Guard mission. That can be a couple weeks to a month. There are training rotations globally that can go, 3 weeks to 3 months. Like my unit just before I got back, they were in Morocco for 3 months doing training with other partner forces. A full-on combat deployment, which those do still exist. They can say the local war on terror is over, but they're still sending people. Those can be 9 to 12 months. Yeah. Yeah. They don't do the 15 and 18 month ones anymore because that was just like wrecking too many people's lives. But
that likely is usually like a 3 month.
9 month is standard in the Army. That's pretty normal.
What was the last time you sent for 9 months?
I haven't been. Yeah. The last time my unit deployed was that long was Afghanistan in 2019. They call it one of the last deployments there. So yeah, that's the thing.
We have a solution right here, and then I'll go to Kyle.
Yeah, so that's just so tough for scalability, right? Just having that looming over you all the time. It's like, yeah, I might have to go for 9 months.
Yeah.
And with you right now being the current lead gen method, when you're gone, leads dry up and the pipeline is done. Most people in the startup, as we all know, they'll work for 5 years so that they'll never leave the office. They'll work for 5 years with all the systems and processes in place, staff those with the right people, so then they can leave later on down the line. Really, really difficult. Man, what a burden you must wake up with knowing, like, I want to go serve my, because that's probably calling more than it's on your person, right?
I don't wake up because I don't sleep.
Yeah, there it is, right? There it is. So how can you more quickly systemize yourself? I think you already have the hardest part. We have our strategy guys, we have our tactics guys. You got the strategy guy. That's the hardest thing to find. More importantly, a strategy guy that you can trust, that you can leave. I mean, we're not talking like, oh, I got to go to Hawaii for a week. We're talking like 9 months. That's long enough for somebody to do real devastation to the business. You can get thrown it out and come back to everything gone, right? You know, so it's awesome. You have somebody good that you can trust already in place. It sounds to me like you really just need to find more tactics guys, so that you can go away confidently knowing that if everything goes wrong, at least he's going to fire all of them and fix it and get somebody else, right? So I think just properly having the right tactics people that you can trust, you're super lucky you can kind of just pass everything off to that guy. And then for you, number 2 is how do you get more leads, right? Not how to get more leads for your clients.
Right. Yeah, because I have that system down. Like, I know how to get wins for them.
Cool.
And I know how to get wins for myself. It's just like how to accelerate that process.
Of course.
Because like the more cash flow I have coming in, the bigger client base I have before anything happens, before I get, that like apocalyptic sweeping backhand of like, hey, you're getting deployed. The more of that I have before that happens, the better it's going to be because the more resources I have to work with. So that is urgent.
Of course, and then urgent again. We need fresh leads coming in too. We can't climb a mountain to get deployed and then fall off and have to reclimb and get back. Right. God,
so my other business, I dealt with this already. Like, I did not have an internal marketing team for StarCraft the last time I left, and I had to rebuild it all.
Yeah, you work a year.
Like, ops was covered. Like, classes happened. Like, stuff was, like, that part went great.
Right.
That was flawless. But, yeah, the lead gen, the marketing side, totally dropped off.
Yep.
So,
we had 3 months where classes weren't happening, and you're out of the
6.
country.
Yeah. I was gone for 6 months last time.
So yeah, lead gen, really, really important for you. I think 2 things came to mind. Number 1 would be a coupon code. This is something I've had good success with, helping people in your space, right? Like a restoration company. You don't need a restoration company until you need a restoration company, am I right? Who's going through Google and Facebook and who's looking like, oh, a restoration company, let me say
Yeah, I'm on a Google search for the water damage I don't have yet.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody's doing that. So I've had great success with a 25% off coupon code. You give them a coupon on the front end, say, hey, I know you never need me till you need me, but you know what happens when you need me, and I just want to give you peace of mind. Sure. Here's a coupon, redeemable anytime. God forbid the worst thing happens, you can use that. Same thing for you. You can run a coupon code, and you can say, hey, you never need a digital marketing agency for your physical business until you actually need a digital marketing agency.
Right. When you're ready to grow scale, call me.
Yeah, right. So, hey, you don't need it till you need
need it. I understand, but if you're sitting up late one night, just grab the coupon. You can never use it. You can use it. It's whatever works best. I just want to try and help you get another hour of sleep so you can go serve people better, right?
Sure.
So a coupon, you can just run that in perpetuity. That lives on forever. Also, a free challenge. I think would be great for you because leads for your business are not service people. Leads for your business, leads for your business are service people, right? So you don't need to make challenges on like how to properly tile your roof or how to put up drywall. That's the customer of your customer. So for you, a free challenge. What's a nice, low-hanging, easy, deliverable fruit? Like maybe the people, you know your customer best, but maybe when they come into your world, they don't really have an online presence. They don't have the free social media pages that they should already be having. They don't have anything that they're publishing to, so the community doesn't know anything about them. Maybe we can make a really simple 24 or 3-day free challenge. Challenges convert really well at digital. And that's just a 3-day event that you automate the process, do it live, record yourself, now you automate it. Now you have a 3-day challenge that helps all of these business owners set up their social media accounts. And you give them a 90-day content calendar schedule. And maybe a training on how to use AI properly. Use this script right here. Copy and paste this, put it into AI. It'll give you more ideas, right? So, just being in the online world, challenges are converting at silly rates.
I like the challenges idea.
It's silly. So, to come up with your challenge, what should I make my challenge about? Let's grab some low-hanging fruit that will be a really big impact on your people. Because once you
I already have that. I have a checklist that I give out to people that are in my Legion Facebook groups of like, here's low-hanging fruit. Here's what you should be doing before you ever have a conversation about us actually working together.
Nice.
But that's the next step.
So let me give you an example. If I was going to help somebody build a business digitally from scratch, I know the things they need as you do for your customers, right? So you need a domain. You need a professional email. You need to have your Facebook business manager set up. You need to create your pixel. I need to teach you what UTMs are. If I can teach you these 5 things right here, you know everything you need to know to go out and do the thing. It's on you. Low-hanging fruit. That would take me an hour to make all those videos and trainings, right? You have the same thing. So just what's the low-hanging fruit that would make a big deliverable action in your customers' lives? I think that would be incredible.
Yeah, that's helpful. I appreciate that. Yeah, because I do have, again, the checklist for the low-hanging fruit. It's kind of like a, it's a lead magnet. It's a freebie. It's like, hey, make sure you're doing these things in your marketing before you go any further. The other offer there's 2 other offers that I make. One is I do special pricing for veteran and first responder owned businesses, just as a fellow veteran and first responder owned business, like that's my people, I want to help them out, and also you find a lot of those guys in trades. So that's one offer. The other offer
I'm sorry, do you have a specific coupon that they could opt in for?
No, I haven't. It's honestly honor system right now.
It's on right.
Yeah.
So
basically, as I onboard them, I just factor in the discount.
And you're the lead gen, right? So you're
Right.
the communication.
But yeah, that's the next step. It's like if I'm not there, like whoever needs to use the coupon code.
That's what I would do. I would make
Yeah.
a coupon funnel. I live in a funnel world, but do it how I could care less.
Yeah.
I do. Make a coupon funnel, and now you can run ads to your local community with your coupon funnel. 15% off for veterans,
Right.
and then they get the 25% off too. But now at least you have a systematic process where veterans can opt in.
Well, and that's the next step is actually systematizing all this and getting myself out of it. The other offer that I make, and this is, if anybody is in my target audience, keep this in mind. I do this thing called a resurgence campaign. It's an SMS, basically a lead list revival campaign. So if you have a list of old dead leads, it's like jobs that you did estimates for and didn't close. Clients that were like this close and they ghosted you. Just people that you talked to about estimates, like a lead list, essentially, that nothing's happened with. I will sit down with you, I'll create an offer that resonates with them, that's like a really solid offer of something they would be interested in. And then we blast that out, SMS campaign to that list, and then see what happens, basically. Like see what kind of leads, what kind of jobs we can get out of that. If it's a big lead list for an established business, like usually they get at least like 1 to 2 jobs out of it. And I do that for free. That's a free offer, that's how we start. And I do it for a couple reasons. One is it's a good faith offer, like, hey, let me go ahead, ease your mind, prove my value to you, let me show you that I can get results for you. And then, once that happens, like the anxiety about money goes away. Because I just scored them a couple jobs I wouldn't have had otherwise. And now they've got a marketing budget. So now they're not stressing about paying me my retainer for paid ads.
Right. And
So-
they know that they know, like, and trust you. That's your challenge right there, bro.
Exactly.
That's your challenge right there. You can automate the process, help people find their dead files, upload them to a thing, help people create their own emails. You can do that all automated. You just make video. There's your challenge.
Yeah. Just
boom.
add it to the list.
Yeah, and now
Yeah.
if you already have an autoresponder, take the SMS, go plug it into your autoresponder. If you don't, reach out to me, I'll do it for you for free. It's a beautiful lead method.
Right,
Now, you can
because
go-
they can't lose.
They can't lose. There's nothing for them to lose, only for them to gain. Now,
And that's
you
why I
gotta
do it for free, because there's no risk to them. Like, if it doesn't,
But how do
if
we
you don't get any business out of it, okay, we tried.
How do we automate it and scale it at this point? Because again, is that process still all on you? Feet on the
At
ground?
the moment, yes.
So we
and
just need to.
that's the step where I'm at. It's like, okay, now that I've got a few clients, I have, I can start this next level of making all this run without me.
Yep.
And using the people that I have on my team and also the digital resources, AI, software systems, whatever, to systematize this. So that's kind of the point that I'm at, which, for reference, most businesses hit that point at about the, 2 to 3 year mark, and I'm doing it right out of the gate. I launched in April. So that's where I'm at, because I have to be. But I think it's going to be great in the long run. I think that the business will grow more sustainably, it'll grow better, and deliver more consistent, better results for my clients long term, because I'm having to do this from the start, rather than all just, because, entrepreneurs can do everything. And your first thought is like, I'll do it all, and then, it starts to fall apart and stuff falls through the cracks because you're trying to do it all. And I think that by systematizing and delegating everything from day one, I'll avoid at least some of that.
Alex, let's go through prior.
Sure.
One of the things that I think about too, to your point, what's your name?
Dante.
Dante. I don't like pointing people and saying back. To Dante's point about
people are mad at you that they go to the 9 circle of hell.
Yeah, absolutely do. I have full power of that. Be nice to me.
So when I think about Dante's point about a restoration company, for instance, that is a highly intent-focused business. You don't need it till you need it. So a Facebook advertisement, barring some sort of offer like calls when you need us kind of thing, with some sort of friendly discount code, it's a highly intent-driven business. And then you have other businesses that might be more interruptive, in nature, where you can get in front of a specific group of people and say, hey, we do this for people like you. I think one of the things that, and you spoke about a part-time partner, that to me seems missing in the ecosystem of knob turners, lever pullers, button pushers down at the bottom, VAs to coordinate between the client and the people, push the 14-year-olds in Bangladesh that, have a YouTube channel or whatever.
Or, 20-something in Canton, depending on the service.
Depending on who's doing what, right?
Yeah.
Who is, in your absence, who's making the strategic decisions about this business needs this type of approach? Or like, for instance, even within the intent ecosystem, if a company goes, hey, look, I've got a pretty steady lead flow, my business is doing good, cash flow is okay, I just want to build a moat around that success. And so we're going to take more of an organic SEO, long-term driven approach. Whereas if another company comes to me and goes, hey, I got to get leads in the door right now, and at least in the immediate short-term, SEO is not the right answer for that company. Who's making those kinds of decisions if you get shipped out into the woods for 9 months?
So, short answer would again be my partner, who would be taking over the decision maker role in my absence, because he is going to be doing more of the discovery call, if you will, with the clients. Like, leads in, gets them to a certain point, qualifies them, and then gets them with him, and then that's when those conversations would happen as they get onboarded. The other part of this is I'm planning for worst case scenario, which is no contact. Most situations I'm going to be in, I'll probably have at least some level of communication, which is good. I just can't bank on that. So most situations, like if it does come to that, you're like, hey, let's set up a time where we can all get together. It may be a little more like lead time because of my availability. but I can still have those conversations with them. But truly in my absence, like worst case scenario, I'm like really in the field, it would be him. Because I fully trust his judgment to be able to work with clients and find, because again, those are very different approaches and very different needs, and I will trust his judgment to do that.
I think one thing that would scale well with that, or at least relatively well, because it still requires some degree of critical thinking, and some degree of like reps and just sort of chops in the field, is having your decision-making process. Like as you go, if the same business came to you and came to me, for instance, and sat down and said, here's my situation, you and I are going to come up with 93% the same strategy. Right? Yeah. So how do you systemize that 93% to where there's a flow chart or a decision-making tool that you can then, regardless of whether you're in the building or not, whether you're in Canton or whether you're in Morocco, you can then scale that by giving it to person X and saying, look, when a company comes to us, because at the end of the day, when you're working with the services, and this is the advantage that you have with regard to niching, is you can say, at the end of the day, everybody's going to need one of these 6 services.
Right. The business models are not that different.
They're not that different. Whether you're a landscaper or a plumber or a this or whatever, you're going to need roughly the same thing. So if you can have even a stable of people that can make a pretty good decision about kind of the triage element.
Well, that comes into the qualifying the prospects in the lead gen system. So if say I have, say I have another VA doing cold calls. That's something in the questionnaire there, or the VA doing onboarding, or our partner doing onboarding. Yes, like if they're asking for this, steer them towards this, and that's going to be an effective outcome for them.
I tell the story all the time. Like when my daughter was 2 or 3, she tripped on her living room and hit her head on our coffee table, and she started her head started swelling, and she's crying. She's 2 or 3. She's like, I need a Band-Aid. I need a Band-Aid. She's not bleeding at all, so she didn't need a Band-Aid at all. Right. She's 2 or 3, and so boo-boo means Band-Aid. Right. Like I got hurt, so I need a Band-Aid. And we couldn't calm her down enough to give her an ice pack until we literally stuck a Band-Aid on this knot on her head. She goes, oh, thank God, I got a Band-Aid now. And so right, and so you've got these business owners that have somebody in their ear, or they're watching a bunch of Gary Vee videos or whatever, and they're going like, well, I need to be running Facebook ads. No, maybe don't. I understand, I hear you. You can't outright tell them, like, no, that's wrong. Yeah. But to some degree, you kind of have to.
I mean, that's another reason why I work with contractors, because most of them you actually can, you can be like, dude, no, we're not doing that. And they're like, okay.
Yeah. You're dealing with, by and large, reasonable.
Yeah. And that is the big difference between just any marketing agency and a good one is, any marketing agency, like a mediocre one, will take your money no matter what. I'm like, okay, you want to do that? We'll do that for you. Cool. But a good one will be like, we'll even have the conversation like, maybe I'm not the best fit for you. Like maybe you need to work with X, or maybe you need to do this in-house, all these steps in-house first before we ever do anything together. Yeah, and that comes down to, ethics, doing the right thing.
Right, it's something that's going to, when you're putting new people, you're going to have to sort of instill, like, this is
because like you said, a lot of them, they're fairly new to the idea of marketing, so they're just like drinking from the fire hose of influencers, and they're like, okay, I need to be doing all this. Like, maybe you don't. Like, let's take a step back and then really look at your business and see what's going to benefit you the most, and then come up with a comprehensive strategy that's going to get you the results that you want. Maybe just go about it a different way.
An emergency plumber does not need a TikTok. Right? Like,
Exactly.
You don't. So.
Unless they just want to do one for fun. They don't need that. Yeah, agree completely. But some marketing agencies will tell you have to do that. Yeah, so no, agree completely. But yes, the onboarding flow chart is part of all of that. Like, and again, that's the beauty of working with a specific niche. Is like you said, there's not that many different variables. So you can, and that's very difficult to do with like a broad spectrum agency because the client's different. But if you're only working with a certain type of businesses, then it is a little more like plug in pieces, and then like that last 5 or 10%, that's where it becomes that unique client's account and their specific needs. Yeah, I mean, I've had a lot of conversations with you now. You've never been wrong. Like, I'm gonna agree with everything you say.
Yeah, this year, 2023, I haven't been wrong.
Yeah.
About anything.
Batting 1,000.
I don't know what's happening.
I will say, Kyle is one of the sharpest marketers that I know. He knows his stuff. He's very, very analytical, very data driven. So he's not a bad person to talk to either.
You gotta love the confidence in the room, and I want to thank you all so much for the productive conversation, the energy in the room. Thank you for being here this morning. I know several of you did Canton Business Club, so you're sitting here, it's 2 hours in, and I'm recognizing the time and gonna wrap this up, and I think some of y'all are going to a workshop right after this.
Yeah, this is 2 out of 3. Go to the up-level local branding workshop over at Thrive, and that's like 3 for 3. Your rock star power morning in the Canton business community.
For some of you, I know.
Yeah, that's the most important part, is going to do something with it.
So your morning here, I know, is not finished here at Thrive, but I do want you to be able to connect with Alexander. Many of you already know him, but here's his slide to be able to do that. Thank you, Alex, for coming and sharing your challenges and what keeps you up at night. I hope you walked away with a couple of things. I like his idea of alpha.site, because as long with Gerald, I struggled to find you on the website as well.
It's just a humble $540.
Just a little
small
little
Everybody put $20 in the bucket before you leave.
Crowd fund, and I have business cards for anybody who wants them. But thank you, everyone, for coming out. I really do appreciate your time. Thank you for giving feedback, asking questions, and thank you for listening. It's always a lot more fun to present to a full house. So thanks for doing that for me. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
All right, good deal today.